There was another great one that I built recently. The Panther was amazing. This guy has 4 Panther engines that detach and then use something like 28 spider engines to take it into orbit. I'm not going to do the polar orbit. We're just going to do a launch from the runway on this one. So with most of my designs, I like to just go full throttle. See the 4 Panthers. Let's get us back to 90 degrees. These guys are noisy. Already going over 1,000 meters per second. I'm gonna pitch up to 30 degrees. We're almost gonna lose. Almost lost some parts there. Almost losing parts. What did I lose? I think I lost landing gear on the Panthers. 1,400 meters per second. We are moving fast. 20,000 meters altitude. Fuel is free. Flip prograde on SAS and then see what happens here. I'm going to wait until aerodynamic drag reduces before I detach the Panthers. Apoapsis is at 67,000 kilometers, so just on the Panthers alone, we're at an apoapsis that we can just extend to get to low Kerbal orbit. Alright, just check my staging. Gonna decouple the Panther engines. That worked. And we're gonna see if this can get into orbit with 28 spiders. Let's start small. $175 units of oxidizer, 140 units of liquid fuel. Spider engines are just burning. These guys have a ridiculously small amount of thrust, 2 kilonewtons of thrust, as opposed to many thousands of units in other engines. Like a Mammoth has like 1,800 kilonewtons of thrust. There's some of the I think these are the smallest liquid fuel oxidizer engine in the game. I think we're gonna become orbital. I'm just gonna let this roll. Watching the maneuver mode, periapsis stats, negative 74,000, 50,000, 30, 20. Let's see if I can get to 70. We're orbital. 50,000, 55, 59. This is fine. So periapsis is at 63,000, which means we're still going to encounter some aerodynamic drag here. But our apoapsis is at 300,000 meters, so with this crazy design of Panthers and spider engines, it actually worked. I'm just going to take this thing around. That's fine. Alright, we'll see what happens. This guy might burn up on re-entry. Do I have a solar panel? I do! And I have one on the bottom too. So learn my lesson from the last round. I'm going to go radial out to reduce speed on the way in. That seemed to be important, so I don't lose important parts like wings on my way down. And if I remember right, this thing flies pretty well. I balanced it pretty well, so on entry it should be fine, and on landing it should be fine. But there is no air-breathing engine on this, so you do need oxidizer and liquid fuel to take you in. And I'm hoping we don't end up in the water. We're going to land on the beach. So we'll flip prograde. You can see the general trend with SSTOs, or the general tactic. If you need to slow down and you have a design that can handle changing trajectory or changing your orientation with stability control radial out or prograde or retrograde, you should do those things as you need to manipulate your landing arc. And this looks fine. I think I'm going to land on this strip of land on this continent, well short of the space center, but I didn't really give that too much thought. You can see we're already picking up a lot of speed. I usually get worried if I'm coming in at this altitude over 2,000 meters per second. I'm going to flip to stability assist and pitch up to take some of the heat off of the nose and also gain some altitude. So we're going to start heating up the parts on the bottom of the craft, and you can see that the heat on the nose just dissipated. So a lot of entry is just manipulating the orientation of the craft to heat or cool different parts. And now I'm just going to go radial out because I'm over my target area, and I'm definitely going to be able to land 600 meters per second, go stability control, have 40 electricity. I'm going to start to pitch down, and we'll just follow the coast. And it looks like I'm a little bottom heavy on this thing. I'm going to try to go prograde. There we go. So that guy recovered from a flat spin very, very nicely, which is not always what happens. So we're just bombing this landing. It doesn't need air intakes, but it has them. It's like big double scoop on the front. It looks sweet. Alright. Hit the gear. I think we're gonna be fine. Looks a little bit smoother this way. And when I'm landing, 40 meters per second is a good target for a nice soft landing. And we're actually going uphill here. When I get real close to the ground, pitch up. No brakes, just rolling. Brakes now. That was a very smooth and nice landing. So this was the Panther Spider. This one was super fun. Let's see if we'll do maybe one more. It's getting kind of late, and maybe we'll continue Shelter in Space next time. Oh yeah. Alright, let's close with this. The X3. Yeah. Alright, the X3 Spaceplane. So I had a twin hull design that I built and posted a screenshot that was pretty popular. So I made a triple cockpit design. Let's launch this guy on the runway.